Hello, everyone. My name is Ollie D'Amico, and today I'll be talking to you about MATLAB and Python and how to use them in a single Jupyter notebook. So my goal with this project was to explore the possibility of running MATLAB and Python code in a single script. And I wanted to do this because Dr. Desau, my advisor, and I teach COGS 189, brain-computer interfaces. And in that class, we teach students to analyze neural time series data, mostly focusing on EEG data. And since 2019, we've gone back and forth on which language we should use for the assignments in the class. Dr. Desau is a big proponent of MATLAB, and she only programs in MATLAB and is generally more confident with the type of toolboxes and code written in MATLAB, while I've used both Python and MATLAB extensively. And there really are a lot of pros and cons. So let's first talk about MATLAB's obvious pros. First and foremost, there's EEG Lab, which is a MATLAB toolbox for analyzing EEG data. It's currently sitting at over 19,000 citations, and it's not slowing down. It is by far and large the most widely cited and used EEG processing toolbox. And having students learn EEG Lab gives them a set of skills that they can directly take to research labs after the course. And this is something particularly useful for us because we usually take research assistants from our class. So having them already know how to use a standard set of skills and toolboxes, it makes life easy for us. But I also think that having a standard set of tools would help the EEG and BCI communities flourish. So as a way to legitimize MATLAB in the signal processing domain, MATLAB is the industry standard. And this is a comment from SciPy's Butter function that I think really highlights this, where they directly compare the outputs of SciPy's functions to MATLAB's, and actually they clone the implementation. Another example is in the OpenBCI GUI, which is the software portion of this open source hardware and software package that we use. And we do have these in our class. And we can see that they actually generate their filter coefficients in MATLAB directly. And then an example that's personal to my life, there is PyXDF, which is a tool for loading XDF files. These are the format that I use for loading all of my EEG data. And XDF files are created from lab streaming layer streams, and that is probably the most common tool used in BCIs. And I noticed that there were some weird discrepancies in the timing of my LSL markers when analyzing my data in PyXDF. But when I loaded my data into MATLAB, I didn't see this discrepancy, so I was able to go into the MATLAB code and use it to find the bug in Python and submitted a successful PR. And finally, I just want to end off with the fact that MATLAB is a lot more readable than Python when you're writing straight math. And as we all know, with NumPy, Python can do all these operations, but Python as a language has different considerations than MATLAB. And in general, I think we'd all find that the MATLAB is a lot easier to read here. Okay, so those are the pros of MATLAB. I'll keep the pros of Python pretty brief, and that's that everybody uses it. Almost every class in our department has switched from MATLAB to Python, or at least gives the option to use either of the two languages. I believe the only class students still have to use MATLAB in is linear algebra. This is a shame, mostly because MATLAB and Python both have things that they're good at, and it doesn't seem reasonable to have to choose. So in other words, we should use and choose both of them. So that's the dream that I had, and I started doing some digging, and I found out that MathWorks has official functionality and support for executing Python in MATLAB or executing MATLAB in Python. And once I learned about this, I immediately thought I'd be able to use this to create these tightly integrated assignments for my students where they could use Python and MATLAB. I knew MATLAB had live scripts since I had made assignments with them before, and these feel very similar to other Markdown notebooks like Jupyter, and it allows users to have these seamless experiences between their plots, code, and Markdown explanations. And I thought, okay, surely there must be a way to add Python execution cells in here. And I did some digging and found this plugin. I installed it, configured it, but after a while of tinkering, I couldn't get anything to work at all. So then I thought, all right, maybe I'll just create a Python Jupyter notebook, and I'll use MATLAB's official method for calling MATLAB engine code, and that should be pretty seamless. So I went through that documentation, but this also just seemed a little too clunky. It worked, but it just wasn't fluid. You had to call things through the engine object, and you had to manually cast objects from one language to another. And in general, this functionality is really well designed and documented. It just seems to suit a different purpose than what I was looking for. And that purpose is mainly executing entire workflows in one language and then going back to the other. So let's say you have some audio processing toolbox that you only have in MATLAB and you're in Python, you load it in through that, call a single script, and then go right back into your main analysis. I've tried something similar to this in the class before where I had pre-processing of the data done in MATLAB and the machine learning done in Python, but students just did not go through that added on MATLAB script. It's just they let it stay a black box. So I wanted something that was a little more seamless, but also something that has both languages right there, right in front of you so that you can do exactly what you want in any language. So I envision something like this, truly seamless. And in this case, you wouldn't have to just execute single MATLAB lines in Python or vice versa. You could actually fully work with the language with all of the for loop structures, try catch, whatever that you want. And so I did some more digging and I found out that this exact functionality existed in something called Script of Scripts, or SOS. And SOS is a framework that allows multiple languages to communicate with each other by having a shared parent. So each language has its own installed subkernel, as we call them, and each of these subkernels communicate to the parent SOS kernel. SOS is relatively new, but it has support for most of the common analysis languages, and there's support for adding more languages. Now, I discovered the ideal tool for the job, so I figured I'd start exploring its functionality. SOS allows for the creation of notebooks where every cell can have its language determined by a drop-down menu. This does take a considerable amount of configuration depending on the language, and spoiler alert, MATLAB is the hardest one to configure. But once it's set up, you can execute code in one language and then transfer the data using the %get or %put keywords. This isn't as seamless as having immediate access to your data in some mutually shared pool by default, but that approach could get memory intensive very quickly, so this ends up being probably a more pragmatic choice. All right, so once I figured out how to set it up, I created a repository with instructions so that I could replicate it. This was mostly for me, just to make sure I wouldn't forget what I was doing, but I also wanted to have something just in case students had to set this up on their own personal computers, something that was easy to follow. But what I really wanted was to deploy everything onto DataHub. And DataHub is UCSD's Jupyter Hub instantiation, and having that all set up through there means that students can just connect to it through a web browser. They don't have to worry about licensing issues or having enough space on their hard drives to install MATLAB. So this was really my number one choice. And I have to give a huge shout out to Adam Tillman and his team because they were able to set up SOS, but more importantly, they were able to set up the MATLAB kernel on DataHub. And previously, there was no way to use MATLAB on DataHub. And back in 2019, this is what ultimately led me to creating my assignments in Python because DataHub was the main thing that we wanted to use. So now, any instructor at UCSD that plans on using DataHub can request the MATLAB kernel, and you can both use the MATLAB online kernel or just use it within Jupyter Notebooks. So hopefully now nobody is forced to pick an option just because of unavailability. So once DataHub was configured correctly, which ended up not happening until the second week of winter quarter, even though I started this process during fall quarter, I started grinding out assignments that used SOS with MATLAB plus Python. However, once I started creating these assignments, some of the cracks with the system started to show. For example, when working with EEG Lab, we load the data into these fairly complex MATLAB structs, and SOS can't figure out exactly how to cast these structs into nested dicts when they try to get transferred to Python. So we have to transfer individual members manually. In this case, the core time series data exists in EEG.data, so I can pull that in from MATLAB into Python. No problem. I type in whos, and Python definitely has the object in memory. However, when I try to access the object, Python can't do it. And that's because there's no class called EEG that has this member data. So we have the object transferred, it's just completely inaccessible. And I was able to find a hacky workaround to this in the form of a temporary variable. However, at this point, the seams were a little too present, and I wasn't particularly happy with the added steps in the workflow. I did repost this problematic behavior to the creator of SOS, and he quickly patched in a solution, and that works super well. Another benefit of having deployed assignments on SOS to students is that our students are pretty talented sometimes. I had one who was particularly interested in the big, in the oddities of SOS, and he was able to find a bug that I reported, which was again promptly fixed. Also, as an aside, if somebody could get Dr. Bo paying a MATLAB license, I'm sure it would go a long way for the continued SOS plus MATLAB integration. And I should also point out that there were bugs on the deployment to Data Hub that I was finding every now and then, but every time I'd report one, Adam Tillman and his team were able to diligently solve those. So if you're interested in trying some of these polyglot notebooks, or if you're interested in some Python or MATLAB assignments for EEG processing, feel free to check out my file exchange submission. And I actually have that loaded up here. So let's see. So here's the submission, and it really is just a link to my GitHub repository, although the file exchange does a good job of formatting everything nicely on the page. But if we go to the GitHub page, we can see that there are a few different installation steps, and by a few, I mean quite a lot. It's a little difficult to configure for MATLAB, but it should be pretty easy to set up. Note that a lot of these things are Windows specifically, just because there are different kernels that you can use for Ubuntu or OS X. And so all my notebooks are contained within this notebook folder. We have just MATLAB, MATLAB plus Python, MATLAB, Python in R, and just Python. And these are the two main assignments that I was able to create for my class. And then I ran them through just pure Python versions after that because of the problems with SOS. I would like to also point out that the MATLAB, Python, and R is not complete yet, but I do plan on finishing this once I get access to a more complete Ubuntu build on one of my machines. So one of the things that prevented me from finishing those notebooks was that there are Windows problems. Everything works better on Linux and OS X. And in fact, this is, I think, the best exemplified by the fact that MathWorks now has an official kernel for Jupyter, but it's not available on Windows. So again, once I have a Linux machine up and running, I'll start testing these a little more and updating the instructions to match. So thank you very much. Unfortunately, I can't answer any questions synchronously, but I do hope that this inspires some people to use SOS for their own analyses in the future. And feel free to ask me any questions and check out my repository. Thank you.